Hi, it's Kevin Wright back again, and it's another property finance tip. So, what are we talking about this week? Well, we're out of lockdown now, and I'm getting a lot of people saying, and I'm seeing a lot of people asking, should I buy now or should I wait until later in the year or possibly next year because prices might drop? So, if you want to know the answer to that, keep watching. So, what do you do? Do you buy now or do you hang around and wait for property prices to fall? What should you do? In fact, to paraphrase an old Clash song, should you stay or should you go? Because if you stay, it will be trouble, and if you go, it will be double. Or have I got that the wrong way around? I don't know. Anyway, the point is, what should you do? Should you jump in and buy a property now, or should you just hang back and let the property values drop, which they're supposed to do later in 2020? So I'm going to chat around that, but let's have a look at the one basic point that you need to cover when you buy a property. So the reality is that whether you're making money or losing money on the value of a property, it's only on paper. It's only a paper profit or a paper loss. So as long as you own the property, you're putting off the day of reckoning as to whether you make money or lose money. And this is a really key point. So the only time you crystallize the profit or the loss is when you actually sell the property. Whether you should buy now or whether you should try and time your purchase so you can try and buy at the bottom of the market, so to speak. The question is, is that important? So to understand that, the question becomes, what do you want to do with the property when you bought it? Do you want to do it up and sell it again? In other words, a flip? Or are you going to do it up maybe and rent it out and hold it, possibly for a couple of years, possibly even longer? So let's look at each of those in turn. If you're going to buy something to sell it on again, within a few months, then I believe that there's potentially a bit higher risk. Now, the risk in doing that is that if you sell into a falling market, that could eat away your profit. So if your plan is to buy and sell this year, then I think you need to be extra careful about making sure you buy at the right price. Because if you pay too much for your property and the market does turn down, then you could find that you don't make a profit, or indeed you even make a loss. So I think there's an extra risk in buying to sell again, in flipping property in the remainder of 2020. If your plan is not to buy and sell, then it's to buy and hold and rent out, then your timing isn't so critical, because if you're going to hold it for a year or 2 years or 5 years or even longer than that, then whatever the market's doing in the first few months that you own a property isn't really going to affect the outcome over 5 years or even 10 years. So any short-term fluctuation would have dissipated into the longer-term value. So if you're going to buy and flip, then it's pretty important that you get your timing right and you pay the right price for the property. But if you're holding on to it, then it's not so important that you get that timing so spot on. But is it going to rise or is it going to fall? Well, there's only ever speculation. A lot of people have said, that it's likely to fall. Anything from 5 to 15% over the next few months. The Bank of England made some projections, and other industry heavyweights have made those sort of predictions. But contrasting that, estate agents are telling you in the first few weeks out of lockdown, they've never been so busy. You know, there's this whole pent up demand of people that want to buy property, and they're not too fussy about getting a good deal, it seems, because they're going to be paying over asking price in some cases. So, as with all these things, it's only with the benefit of hindsight that you actually realise when the market bottomed out. There's an element of speculation. So really, should you buy or not depends on, first of all, what you're going to do with it. Are you going to keep it or are you going to sell it? And how good a deal can you get? The last thing you want to be is a motivated buyer, isn't it? So there we are. So that gives you some a bit of guidance to work out whether it's right to jump in now or to sit back and wait and see what happens in the rest of 2020. So I hope you found that useful, and hang around a bit because I've got another couple of videos to show you. As well as the videos, why don't you like and subscribe if you haven't done already, and certainly leave a comment, because I'll pick up your comments and answer them for you. So there we are. That's it for this week. That's our property tip for the week.